Thank you, everyone. Today we will have a fact check on the arrest of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and we will do some analysis to understand whether he will be able to have a fair hearing or fair justice from Nigerian government following the briefing of the Minister of Information today, which he elaborates in brief, made emphasized in concise information regard to the arrest of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And it's obvious that the federal government up to today keeping the arrest secret, and they are not willing to, give out any information on how he was arrested, on what was transpired. As you know, I am a private investigator and the founder of Ekens Security and Law Science and the Ekens Foundation International. I render free services for refugees and political detainees all over the world. My service is free of charge. Regard to the briefing of the Minister of Information today, it's obvious that my analysis, security analysis, is that Nnamdi Kanu will not get a fair hearing or fair justice from the Nigerian government, because if you listen to the briefing of the Minister of Justice, you can understand that Minister of Justice exhibited what is called the character evidence, which is not acceptable in any court of law, when he made some references that Nnamdi Kanu is wearing Fendi, designers, Italian. He's not supposed to make such a statement in such kind of a high-profile case that is before the Minister of Justice, and knowing fully well that all over the world people are watching, all eyes are on Nigeria, watching how this event will unfold, whether Nnamdi Kanu will get a fair justice. As you can understand, at this moment, what is called in law presumption of innocent until proved guilty, Nnamdi Kanu is an alleged, accused at this moment. There have not been proven of this case beyond a reasonable doubt. And Nnamdi Kanu have, to my understanding on my investigation, have not killed anyone. Why I said that? If the Nigerian government proclaim or claim that he gave an order to kill or incite violence, it's not a proof that Nnamdi Kanu physically killed somebody, because he have not been in Nigeria for some time since he ran away. So there's no way you can accuse someone who is outside the country of physically killing somebody. So that one, there's no case on that side. Another issue here is issue of bail, jumping bail. Under the international law, there is something called defense of necessity. That defense of necessity is very, very necessary for the defense of Nnamdi Kanu when the trial come up, because or when he appear again for bail hearing, because the federal government will say Nnamdi Kanu is flight risk. If you guarantee him bail, he will not show up. Then the legal team can argue on what is called defense of necessity, whether he acted in an emergency to save his life, or whether the action he took to run away was necessary under the law for him to save his life. Because if Nnamdi Kanu wasn't alive today, we wouldn't be talking about another trial. And whether the course of action that led to his disappearance was caused by Nigerian government, or was caused by Nnamdi Kanu by himself, or whether Nigerian government contributed to Nnamdi Kanu action of jumping bail under the defense of necessity. That one again, on my preliminary analysis, Nigerian government cannot prove that Nnamdi Kanu jumped bail because there is evidence that the Nigerian military invaded his house and a lot of people were killed. In that aspect, Nnamdi Kanu's life was at risk. So there is no way he would have allowed himself to be killed if he had the opportunity. So he acted on defense of necessity. In that one, the legal team should also observe that right of defense of necessity. I will want you to watch the briefing of Lai Mohammed this morning, where I watched him making what is called interference on issue before the Court of Justice and making a personal statement that can raise a question of bias or personal interest, showing that he trying to exhibit a character evidence. Well, I haven't seen Nnamdi Kanu entering private jet, wearing a fashion designer clothes is a personal life. It have nothing to do with the allegation, unless if the allegation include wearing a designer clothes or flying a private jet. To my understanding, Nnamdi Kanu is not working with the government. I don't think that the allegation include that he embezzled money from the Nigerian government to acquire private jet or rent private jet or buy designer clothes. So this is baseless in law. I want you to watch this video. After that, I will come back and continue my analysis. Watch this video and we will continue from there.
Gentlemen, the federal government wishes to commend the Nigerian security and intelligence services who collaborated to arrest the proscribed IPOB leader in one of the most classic operations of his type in the world.
Hold it there. When he said the most classic investigation, I do not see this as the most classic, other than the information I got from my investigation shows that they used informants against Nnamdi Kanu. Even though I said I will not go in details because of some classified information, but I want you to understand, as long as Nnamdi Kanu was arrested on international territory and he was not arrested in Nigerian border, then what I understand there, he was kidnapped across the border, because no country have the right to apprehend and hand over somebody, a fugitive, a non-fugitive that is taking a shelter or refuge in another country. No country have the right under the international law to apprehend that person without a due process and hand the person over to an enemy of that person. Because as it is, Nigerian government is an enemy of Nnamdi Kanu because of the issue at stake. And Nigeria maintain death sentence. No country in the world can hand over somebody just like that to a country where the person's life is at risk or where the person is facing, charges that bears death penalty or capital punishment or life imprisonment. So no country will do that. So issue of a country handing Nnamdi Kanu over to Nigerian authority is a question of law that can be argued up to the International Criminal Court of Justice or International Court of Human Rights, because the violation of fundamental human rights on how he was apprehended and handed over to international body without a due process. So in that issue, I do not see the operation as classic, because simple, they used informants to track him, which I will not go into details, but I have those information. Let's continue so that you can be able to continue to listen to him.
We commend the professionalism, diligence, patriotism, and painstaking effort of our security and intelligence agencies. We also thank the sister international agencies that collaborated with us to pull off this arrest. It will interest Nigerians to know that for over 2 years, our security and intelligence agencies,
the sister intelligence agency he is referring is the Interpol, International Crime Police Organization. Is the sister agency the Lai Mohammed is referring. Those are the people they collaborated with to apprehend Nnamdi Kanu without due process, because the due process, again, I said, is when somebody is apprehended on international border, then he should not be, handed over to an enemy overnight. So in that issue, the person is supposed to have passed through due process, as long as they don't have jurisdiction in the territory where he was arrested. So again, I emphasize, this is not a classic operation. Let's continue, and I will continue my analysis.
were on the trail of the proscribed IPOB leader as he lived a five-star life across several countries, traveling on chartered private jets, living in luxurious apartments, and turning out in designer clothes and shoes. Of course, as we all saw, he was arrested wearing an attire made by Fendi.
You see, with the problem in this issue, I don't know how somebody who is facing treason or treasonable felony have to do with wearing designers' clothes, traveling on private jets. Those things are character evidence that is not admissible. So it looks like there is no case here. Because if Lai Mohammed, mind you, ministries are not part of a constitution. In law, ministries are created by the government. The people in charge of the government is the three arms of the government: executive, judiciary, and the legislature. Lai Mohammed is a minister of information. This information is created by the minister. It's not part of the government. It's not part of the constitution. It can be abolished. It can be dissolved. It's under political appointment. So, and he is sitting there with the taxpayers' money. So, and he should have done his job diligently instead of coming, wasting taxpayers' money, coming to national television, making such a statement on an such case by saying Nnamdi Kanu is traveling, living a luxurious life. Everybody have his own fundamental human rights. It doesn't matter the kind of lifestyle you live, as long as you are not committing crime. It's not Lai Mohammed's interest. It's not Nigerian government interest. It's not the prosecution interest. What Lai Mohammed should focus is on how to prove his case, not Nnamdi Kanu lifestyle. So I haven't any idea of Nnamdi Kanu renting a private jet with Nigerian money, but I don't know whether this is true, but shouldn't come into the picture. So once again, this is doesn't make sense. Let's continue to watch and I continue my analysis.
Luxury Italian fashion brand. We can tell you that the forensic investigation carried out so far has revealed a treasure trove of information on the proscribed IPOB leader and his collaborators. While the investigation continues, we assure you that none of the collaborators, irrespective of their standing in society, will be spared. They will all face the full wrath of the law for their activities that challenge our nation's sovereignty and threatens its unity. No one, no matter how hard it is the guide of the country. It's also interesting that many are suddenly calling for a fair trial for Kanu, as if he didn't get one before. He decided to jump bail and flee. However, I can assure you that the fair deal that Kanu denied many of the victims of the violence which he willfully instigated through.
Again, you can see what he said, that as if he did not get a fair hearing before he jumped bail. This is where the issue of defense of necessity have to come in. Lai Mohammed is not a minister of justice, so he's not an attorney, so he's not in position to use that legal words. So that is where issue of defense of necessity, which I earlier said have to come in. Whether Nnamdi Kanu jumped bail on his own, and what is the course of action that led for him to jump bail? Was his life at risk? Who caused the issue, the course of action? Was it necessary that he ran away at that moment? Was it necessary that he took the action he took in order to safeguard life? Is there any evidence that his house was invaded? Is there evidence that people were killed? Is there evidence that Nnamdi Kanu did what he did at that moment as under defense of necessity to safeguard his life? That issue have to be argued by legal team. My advice to Nnamdi Kanu and his team now is to re-strategize group of professionals, lawyers, legal team. One person cannot follow up this case because you need at least 4 prominent Nigerian criminal, constitutional, civil lawyers as work as a team. As an investigator with my experience, I am also a criminologist and criminal psychologist outside having certification as on police science or crime scene investigation, CSI. This case needs 3, 4, 5 professional, top, careful, articulated, resolute lawyers who can study this case with some investigators so that they can find out some certain things another lawyer cannot see. One person writing the lawyer, because in Nigeria, why this case is very risky, because in Nigeria, lawyers proclaim to be jack of all trades. In abroad, you have solicitor, you have barrister. Solicitor is someone who is in office doing research, writing brief, writing submission and application, doing research. Barrister is somebody who go to court and argue the case. So it's not the same. In Nigeria, Somebody can be a family lawyer, corporate lawyer, criminal lawyer, and constitutional lawyer. It doesn't work in that way. Just like if you come to Nigeria, one doctor can say he cure headache, doing operation, is this, is that, he cure everybody. You have to specialize in one field. So that is why my advice is that they need 4 or 5 prominent lawyers who work as a team, and you will see this case, you will go nowhere. I assure you, there is so many inconsistencies, including federal government showing personal interest, showing that Nnamdi Kanu will not get a justice. So again, I want you to continue to watch Lai Mohammed on his statement. So we continue from where he stopped.
His broadcasts and tweets will not be ignited. Finally, there have been speculations on how this rearrest was pulled off and in which country the HSO fugitive leader for the prescribed IPOP was nabbed. All we can tell you once again is that their rearrest was made possible by the diligent efforts of our security and intelligence agencies in collaboration with countries with which we have obligations. We continue to respect and honor these obligations. Gentlemen.
Okay, the obligation they are honoring is to maintain the secret and the confidentiality of the jurisdiction, because the Nigerian government know that this arrest or so-called adoption is questionable and is against international law. That is why the government maintain the secrecy, confidentiality of the jurisdiction. But I know how Nnamdi Kanu was arrested. I know how informants followed him, the communication, what was discussed, why he showed up where he was arrested. I know everything. But I'm not working for government, neither I'm working for IPOB. But I know when government lies, I know when government does not have the good alibi in their statement. You can see that what Lai Mohammed is doing, he's reading briefing. It's very, very unfortunate that a minister of information who has been following up this incident and the minister of information for years can read briefing of 4 to 3 minutes on paper instead of expression, communication with the public. So this is what was omitted for him to say, because to my understanding, they still maintain the confidentiality of the arrest because of the violation of international convention. The legal team should invoke their rights, Commonwealth rights, international human rights, and the fundamental human rights, Declaration of Human Rights, and there are so many organizations that can put input in this, case, even though they cannot interfere on internal procedure of Nigerian jurisdiction. But as long as the arrest was faulty in the first place on the violation of international human rights or convention by the way the arrest was initiated, then the legal team have to do enough. It's not enough to go to court and make noise. You need the technicality to knock off this case, because for my understanding, what Nnamdi Kanu did was word of mouth. The government need to prove that that word of mouth, he committed that atrocity which they are saying, and there is enough evidence that he was at the place where this incident happened, I'm not going to go so much details because the legal team need to do their work. This is a complicated case, but Nigerian government have shown some level of inconsistency, of lack of good faith. So Nnamdi Kanu can invoke so many rights that can assist him for this case. Again, I'm advising the legal team to go to court on emergency. The competent court get an emergency order to see their client on health ground, do evaluation. They should write this application with 2 or 3 lawyers, professional doctors who can come to court, who can get an injunction to go and visit their client and then do medical examination to understand the mental capacity of this gentleman, understand the physical capability, understand the emotional capability, understand the psychological aspect, to understand whether there is a deficiency on this young man that can deprive him of standing trial of this allegation. This is a work of criminologists. You need a lot of expertise on this work as a team. Then again, Nigerian government should maintain the presumption of innocence because Nnamdi Kanu has not been convicted. This is what I have to say today. I remain to maintain some classified information as the event unfolded. Thank you very much again. My name is Ekens Azubike.